Electrostatics, Electric Energy, Series on Electromagnetic Field Theory, lecture number 1.40. Fields, both electric as well as magnetic, they are reservoirs of energy. There exists energy in them, and if it is required, we can bring it out and use for our requirements. And if we want, we can add some more energy to the energy content of the field. In the present session, our focus is on the energy that is there in the electric fields. This energy is called electric energy. This energy can be expressed in terms of potential. It can also be expressed in terms of field intensity. Now we move further to derive the relations for electric energy, first in terms of source distribution and potential, and then in terms of field intensity. A few points before going to the actual investigation regarding the expression for energy. Fields are capable of storing energy, hence they are energy reservoirs. Energy per unit volume in the field, it is called energy density. In case of electric fields, it can be shown it is equal to epsilon E square by 2. E is electric field intensity. Conceptually, source of energy in the fields is considered to be conversion of work into energy while assembling the source distribution. Let us suppose certain charge distribution is available. Q. Surrounding this, there exists field. Here, everywhere field exists. You consider a point in the field and imagine unit volume around this point. The energy that is there within this volume is epsilon E square by 2. It is called energy density, energy per unit volume. Now, what is the source of this energy? Who put this energy into the field? It says, to assemble this charge distribution, some work must have been performed over the charge. That work got converted into energy and it is stored in the field. The work done got converted into energy. The work is done while assembling the source distribution. It is possible to add energy to the field just by forcing a charged particle in opposition to the force on it by the electric field. So energy, already it is having some energy. The field is having some energy. If you want, you can pour some more energy into the field. How? By simply pushing a charged particle against the force experienced by the particle. The reverse process, that is extraction of energy from the field, is also feasible. If you want, we can take some energy out of the field, simply allowing a charged particle to get accelerated by the electric field. See, when a particle is placed in the field, it experiences force. This force may be attraction or it may be repulsion. If both source charge and test charge both are positive or negative, then it is repulsion. Otherwise, it is attraction. If you allow it to move as per its wish, then it is the way of extracting energy from the field. If you force the particle to move against the force it experiences, then it is giving energy to the field. Now, to arrive at an expression for energy density, we consider assembling several point charges. Here you can see Q1 one point charge, Q2 another point charge, Q3, Q4, etc., Q5, Qn. These are all point charges. To begin with, they are at infinity, and this is the region where there is no charges in the beginning. Let us start the process by bringing Q1 to the location where it is right now. This is the location. Right now it is Q1 and it has been brought from infinity. To bring Q1 from infinity to this point where it is now located, you need not do any work. Reason is, here there is no field. To begin with, it is field-free zone, charge-free zone. So you need not do any work to bring Q1. Therefore, to bring Q1, work required is 0. After placing Q1 in its place, let us suppose we brought Q2 from infinity to the location where it is right now here. What is the work that is required to bring Q2 and place it here? In case of Q1, you need not do any work because it is charge-free, field-free zone, but Q1 is there while Q2 is being moved from infinity to its present location. So now, as far as Q2 is concerned, the region is field region. Field is there, charge is also there. So you have to perform certain amount of work. That work is W2. It is 1 by 4 pi epsilon Q1 Q2 by R12. How this expression has has come. 1 by 4 pi epsilon Q1 by R12 is potential at the location of Q2 due to the presence of Q1. Potential is, of course, work done to bring unit positive charge from infinity to the point under consideration. So now the charge that is brought is Q2. Therefore, work required to be done, necessary to be done to bring Q2 to the point under consideration becomes Q2 multiplied by potential of the point. Therefore, it becomes 1 by 4 pi epsilon Q1 Q2 by R1. R12 is distance between Q1 and Q2. After Q2, let us go to Q3. This charge is brought from infinity. How much work we have to do? How much work is required to be done on Q3 to bring it from infinity to its location shown here? It becomes equal to Q3 multiplied by potential of location of Q3. Potential of location of Q3 is potential due to Q2 plus potential due to Q1. Potential due to Q2 is 1 by 4 pi epsilon Q2 by R23. Potential due to Q1 is 1 by 4 pi epsilon Q1 by R13. If you multiply these two potentials, if we add, it gives the total potential at the location of Q3. That potential when multiplied by Q3 gives you work that is required to be done to bring Q3 to the location, its location. That gives you W3. 1 by 4 pi epsilon Q1 by R13 is potential at location of Q3 due to Q1. Q2 R23 is location potential at location of Q3 due to Q2. Potentials are added and then multiplied by Q3. That gives you work required to be done. In the same way, to bring Q3 from infinity, some work is required to be done. That is W3. Argument is same. Now, what we do is, same argument applies to Q5, Q6, Q3, Qn to bring them from infinity to the point under reference. Now consider total work. Assemble Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. These four charges. W1 is anyway 0. W2, W3, W4. Add all those things. By adding, we will be getting this expression. Now, we write down this expression in a different manner. Slightly different manner. What is the difference? R12 is replaced by R21. What is R12? R12 is the distance between particle Q1 and Q2. R21 means distance between particle 2 and 1. But distance remains same. 1 and 2 distance is same as 2 to 1. Therefore, I can replace 1 to distance by 2 to 1 distance. In the same way, 1 3 distance as 3 1 distance. So slightly different manner, the same thing is expressed. Now I add these two. The purpose of all this manipulation is to have an expression for energy in a compact form. Right, by adding these two expressions, left hand side we have 2W, right hand side 1 by 4 pi epsilon, and 1, 2, 3, several terms are there. Q1, Q2, R12, Q1, K3, R13, etc., etc. After adding, I have done some rearrangement. After adding, some rearrangement is done. The rearrangement is such that you see here Q1, Q2 by R12, Q1, Q3 by R13, Q1, Q4 by R14. So what is this three? Q1, Q2, R12, Q1, Q3, R13, Q1, Q4, R14. I can say like this. This is potential at the location of charge 1 due to remaining charges. Apart from Q1, we have Q2, Q3, Q4. We are considering only 4 charges. Apart from Q1, we have Q2, Q3, Q4. U2 by R12 gives you potential at Q1, location of Q1 due to Q2. Second term gives potential at the location of Q1 due to Q3. Next one gives potential at location of Q1 due to fourth charge. Multiplication of the Q1 then gives you work that is required to bring Q1 from infinity to the point under consideration. So therefore, this is basically arrangement is done in such a way that wisely it is done such that it is Q1 V1. Similarly, all other terms are arranged in such a way that charge multiplied by potential at its location. Now, after arranging, now I can write that lengthy expression in a compact form using sigma. W equal to half 1 by 4 pi epsilon sigma I equal to 1 to 4. We considered only 4 charges. Of course, we can extend to n. Any number of charges. So the lengthy expression can be put in this form. Qi, Qj, Rij. J equal to 1 to 4. J should not take same value as I. To And this is the expression for 4 charges. I can make it to n charges 2. Replace 4 by n, then this is what I get. Now I can rewrite this in this manner. Qi. Qi means charge Qi. 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Qj by Rij. This term can be identified as potential at the location of Qi due to all other charges. So this is potential. Basically, this is potential. This is charge product. And now I can write W as half I equal to 1 to n Qi Vi. We have identified, we can identify this is potential at the location of Qi. Let us call it Vi. When it is Vi, then Ui Vi. So this is the work I have performed in assembling the charges. And this work is conceptually it is considered have gone into the field and stored as energy. The energy therefore content in the field is half 1 to n Ui Vi. And this is the expression for discrete charge distribution. We considered several point charges assembled, and this is the energy. Of course, this expression we can extend to continuous charge distributions too, that is line charge distribution, surface charge distribution, volume charge distribution too. In case of discrete differential charges, let us suppose we consider discrete charge Q, Q1, Q2, Q3, Q, etc. We can consider, let us say continuous charge distribution is there. We can consider a small length, differential length charge. The charge within this differential length can be considered, one can write it as dq. The length is so small that you can consider it as a point charge. Similarly, you can divide the remaining length of the line charge also into various differential charges. As their lengths are small, each one can be approximated to a point charge. So what we have right now is several point charges, each point charge being a differential charge, dq, or sometimes you can write small q also, d small q. In such case, I want to extend the discrete case energy to continuous. Therefore, if you consider differential charges, I can replace qi by dqi. But when I consider discrete differential charges, each one I am considering and then I am summing to get the total energy content. For continuous distribution, summation becomes integration. So this summation can be replaced by integration. You are left with integral Vi dqi. In case of line charge, dqi becomes lambda dl, surface charge dqi becomes sigma dA. In case of volume charge, dqi becomes rho d tau. So simply replace dqi by lambda dl sigma dA rho d tau. It results in energy content of the field when the field is due to continuous charge distributions. If it is line charge distribution, this is the expression. Surface charge, this is the expression. Volume charge means half integral rho v d tau. So these are the expressions for energy in terms of charge distribution and potential. Sometimes our interest is in having an expression for energy in terms of field intensity. Then how to get it? The energy can also be expressed in terms of field intensity. It is given by W equal to epsilon by 2. Integration is over the entire space E square d tau. Entire space means wherever field is there. So this is the expression. D tau means differential volume. This is in terms of field. How to get this relation? We have already certain relations. From that relation, from those relations, appropriate relations, we manipulate and arrive at this expression. How it is done? To get this relation, start with energy relation for volume charges and apply Gauss law. This is the relation for volume charges. Apply Gauss law. Gauss law is del dot D equal to rho. So rho is replaced by del dot D. V is as it is. Now you can see here. V del dot D is there. This can be expressed as del dot Vd minus D dot grad V. So this is divergence applied over product of scalar function and vector function from vector calculus. From vector calculus, this is equal to divergence of Vd is equal to V del dot D plus D dot grad V. So that identity we use here and have this expression. Now we keep this one as it is, but grad V equal to, you can see it is E minus E actually. So already one minus is there, minus becomes plus. And now we apply divergence theorem to this fellow. First integral, we apply divergence theorem. It converts volume integral into surface integral dV dot dA. Here d tau is there, here it is dA, differential area, surface integral. Now we have to perform integration. To find energy in the field, we have to perform integration. Where we have to perform integration? Wherever field is there, we have to perform integration there. Then only we will be getting, see, here is some source distribution. I want total energy in the field created by this fellow. Field is there. I want energy in the field, total energy. Then wherever field is there, I have to integrate. But field extends to infinity. However small the charge distribution may be. It may be half coulomb. Let us say there is a small charge, 1 nanocoulomb. Example, 1 nanocoulomb. It gives rise to certain field. Of course, intensity is small. But extent-wise, it goes up to infinity. It may be small, but it exists up to infinity. So if you want total energy, you have to perform integration over the entire space. How to perform integration over the entire space? For that, what they found is they consider a finite radius spherical region. Spherical region. Let us say radius A. Now they perform integration over the volume occupied by this spherical shell or spherical surface, area of the spherical surface. We get something, and then they extend area to, A, radius to infinity. Now everything gets covered. Entire space gets, net result is after when A, radius extends to infinity, total space gets covered. This is the standard procedure when integration is over the entire space. So now here, come to second integral, d dot E d tau. This is volume integral. Integration has to be performed over the entire space. Entire space means the space within a spherical shell whose radius extends to infinity. Entire space we have to perform integration. Okay, so all space. Here what we have to write is entire space or all space. Now when it comes to the first one, here integration is over the surface. What is the surface? Surface of the spherical shell whose radius is going to infinity. But the point is, when integration is done over the spherical shell whose radius is infinity, tending to infinity, it becomes 0. Reason is, this is differential area. Differential area increases with radius as square, r square. Spherical surface, so area is proportional to radius square. Potential is inversely proportional to, in general, distance. D is inversely proportional to r square. So all these three items put together, this entire thing inside the integral, it is inversely proportional to r. R square goes away, you are left with R. As radius tends to infinity, this thing becomes 0. Therefore, this thing becomes 0. So you can neglect it. You can make it 0, and result is W equal to half all space d dot E d tau. But D equal to epsilon E when you substitute epsilon naught by 2 all space E square d tau. This is the way. Now we can see for yourself. Epsilon E square by 2 is energy per unit volume. If I want entire energy or energy that is there in the total field region, then you have to perform integration. So epsilon E square by 2 is energy density, energy per unit volume. Now expressions for energy for different distributions are enumerated here for ready reference. This is for discrete, for line charge, for surface charge, for volume charge. It is in terms of field. All those things are put in a tree diagram. Same information. This is for discrete. This is for potential energy, most general expression. This is for continuous medium. Note, this is most general expression. This is for continuous medium. This expression may not be useful when the region contains some dielectric material. Then you have to use this fellow. So this is most general, but it appears somewhat complex. Most general case of continuous medium, this is the formula. This is for discrete. This is for line charge. This is for surface charge. This is for volume charge, which I have already seen. So this is what I want to share with you regarding energy content of electric fields or energy storage in static electric fields. Enough for now.